every day things are changing, folks, more and more. We have a number of stories to cover. This is Tony. It is March 22nd, and apparently this particular city is closing their streets so that you don't get this strain. And, it's kind of interesting because you're seeing a lot more of this. Closing streets, not allowing, people to get together, all this kind of stuff, right? And some of this needs to be talked about, folks. We're going to go over it, all right? Because there's some big things going on right now. Yes, very big things, okay? And you're going to be surprised when you see it. Your jaw is going to be like that, okay? All right, let's just get over some of the first stories, and then we're going to get into the meat of it, all right? Stuff that I'm referring to here. We have Amazon and other type of packages. We have delivery of these packages by employees that may actually have the strain because they need they need the work, they need the money so they can pay their bills, apparently. Of course, this is not exactly a good thing. They actually give an example of someone who's talking about that. Actually, it seems kind of ridiculous that they would give their name out, but they did. Working for UPS. And so, honestly, those people shouldn't be doing it. But, I mean, for you and me, what we need to be thinking about is the fact that if we do get a package, you should probably just wait 24 hours before you open it. All right, we also have some new shirts for you guys to check out. Look at this one here. Share the toilet paper, folks. We all got to get along and squeeze the Sherman. You know how that is, right? Considering what's been going on in all the stores across the U.S. of A., yeah, that's a good shirt for us to have. We also have a number of other ones. I showed this one already on my community tab. Things to do so you don't get the strain. Buy all the toilet paper. Get all the food. Clear out the stores. All this kind of stuff. Important things. And we actually have a number of items here, folks. We also have this shirt. This is a very popular one. Check that one out as well. We also have other items. We have pillows. We have cell phone cases, all manner of stuff, folks. Even towels. This is actually a towel here. And we even have handbags. So check it out. What else do we got here, folks? Apparently, they're letting people out of... you'll see here in a second. Let me open this. Apparently, they're letting them out, folks. Yeah, I guess because they don't want all these people all in the same place and getting the strain. Just let them out. We're talking about not, obviously, the ones that had minor things they did, but we're talking about people who probably would be out anyways sometime soon. So that's what we're talking about here. And also, they're letting out those who are older as well. And I mean, it's just kind of curious to think about, especially if you live right around one of these. And especially considering what might happen in the next month. I don't know, you know what I mean? I'm just kind of wondering, less jobs, let these dudes out. People need money. Let's start adding things together here, okay? Let's just add some stuff together, figure that out there. All right, let's get on to some other stuff here. This is actually the stuff we're going to get into. This is sort of more of the meat of it, folks. We're talking about what's really going to happen in the next few months, okay? And let me show you this here. They're actually asking this question here, folks. Inside what they're going to be doing. What are they planning? The powers that be, what are they planning if everything goes the wrong direction? We're getting to a point, like, for example, a lot of people that are in this particular group, the powers that be, they tend to be older. You might have noticed that. A lot of these guys are older. And those also tend to be the people that if they get the strain, they're no longer as well. So they're talking about who would be the one running everything, and they mentioned like a number of strange plans that they've created. They got names for them, actually. Octagon, Free Jack, and this one here as well, Zodiac. So we're talking about strange names for plans that are put in place in case things go the wrong direction. All right. And they're talking about people you've never even heard of that might be running everything, like this Terrence O'Shaughnessy. I don't even know how to say his name. He might be the one in charge later. You never know. So we got that. I mean, there's a lot of these stories, and actually, I wanted to show you some of this. They're looking to this as well. Let me show you this. You're going to like this one. All right. These guys, this department here, is looking for powers to essentially, what we're talking about is, they're talking about suspending certain things. Okay? What we're talking about is like they could take you in without any real reason or legitimate reason. You may not be able to go before a judge, things like that. Okay? Just take you in for having the strain, for example. And this is what they're doing over in Europe too. And clearly this is no good, folks. This is not good. Because obviously they're just trying to take away things that we've held dear, you know, and what makes this country what it is. So honestly, this is really not good, what we're seeing. And actually, there's a number of things coming out regarding that. Let me show you some of the other things. Let's see. Here we go. What is this one? Oh, yeah. Here we go. Okay, well, they're claiming... okay, I'll get into that in a second. Let's do this other one first. Okay, so here we go. Check this out. There's actually a lot of this, all right? Let me show you this. Okay, let me pull this up so you can read it. We're talking about them converting hotels and dorm rooms into hospitals, okay? And look who's doing it, all right? So we're talking about 10,000 hotel rooms and such. They're actually planning on making room for these type of facilities because of what's happening right now. And I just thought that was a little curious myself. Obviously they need it, but what's interesting is some of the other stuff I saw. Let me show you this. Okay, some video clips. All right, check this out. So you can see here what it says on the screen. All clips here in this video are from March 2020. And most within the last couple days. This is from a channel, actually, this is from a channel that I follow. They do videos similar to what I used to do. Puts together clips and such. But you can see here, what is all that, folks? You see what's going on? And this is in a lot of different countries they're showing, by the way. Let's see here. Various countries, you see a lot of this happening everywhere. Okay. Let's see if I can show some more. Yeah, here's more. We're talking a lot of countries where you see all this stuff moving in. You can see that. Those trucks there. You see that? Okay. Is that all of them? I got some more there. Other people talking about it. You have trains with them as well. A lot of this happening in a lot of places, folks. That's kind of curious. What are they doing now? What is this going to lead to? So you're seeing a lot of that happening. Now, of course, they're telling us none of this is nothing. They're not going to do anything. It's just, we're not even going to have a lockdown for the entire, you know what I mean? That's what they're saying. But do you actually think that's the case? I don't think it's the case. I think it's coming. Look at this one. This one's even more surprising. Okay. Let me show you this one. Let's see if I can get it pulled up right. Okay, so let me show it this way. Again, the same group, this department. seeks to do what? You see that? I'm not even going to say it. You can read the screen. All right. Yeah. So that's what they're trying to do. Banks and investors are talking about, we're not seeing the lowest point of the Dow Jones at this point. We're talking about right now it's at like 19,100 on the Dow Jones. That is going to go lower, they're saying, which obviously is the case. I could see that a mile away. For some reason, a lot of these investors couldn't see that. Super obvious fact. I don't know why you couldn't see that. What are you missing here? You know what I mean? Come on. This is super obvious, okay? I mean, I've been calling a lot of this stuff weeks in advance, man. Come on. This is so obvious. And we're talking about U.S. airlines are already at the point where they're like beyond even asking for money. You know, they're actually saying, look, if you don't give us money now, we're going to have to really take these big steps. Check this out. I guess they were living on, you know, I mean, they didn't have any money in the bank, these U.S. airlines. I mean, goodness gracious, seriously? You have no money or something? They have literally no money. So they're talking about essentially, I didn't even understand what they were saying here. I even looked up the definition earlier, and I still don't really get what they're trying to say. Let me show you this. This is what they were saying. They're going to have to do this here, which is apparently a leave of absence or something. I don't understand this. They were saying this. I think what they're just saying is like they're going to just stop doing business. Maybe that's what they're saying. They're literally going to just stop doing flights, period. I think that's what they're saying. Okay? You don't give us money, we're just not going to fly anymore. You're just going to go anywhere anymore, okay? Period. I think that's what they're saying, okay? I think that's what they're trying to get at. So no more travel for anybody if you don't give us money. Yeah, all right. So then we have Walt Disney Company here. They're also asking, they're seeking to raise $6 billion in some new debt offering. I was trying to figure out what they were doing here. I think they're trying to offer debt out. What is it? What are they doing here? Oh yeah, they're notes. They're trying to sell notes. That would essentially have interest rates at 3.35%. Okay, so we're talking about, it's kind of like an investment tool. They're looking for, you know, you buy these investment tools and you'll get 3.35% back interest rate, you know, profit-wise, and they'll get money to run their company, apparently, is what they're doing. I guess that's what's going on with that. I don't know. Okay, so there's that. Now they're talking about giving $3,000 probably to the average family here. Okay, that's what they're talking about for the US of A, of course. Let me show you this. If I can get it, this just keeps acting weird here. Okay, here we go. So we're talking about $3,000 per family that a lot of people are going to see. And actually, I was kind of wondering about that because, you know, they said there's going to be a $4 trillion package. The fact of the matter is, I think what they're not saying it yet, but I think a lot of that money, they're going to actually have bigger amounts going to people that really need it. Because this 3,000 thing is like nothing out of that 4 trillion. Okay, it's like it's not even 1 trillion. If you add all that up with the amount they're giving to businesses, it's not even 1 trillion. So where's the other 3 trillion going? Unless it's just going to go into that mysterious place that nobody ever sees. It could be that. I don't know. Who knows, right? But hopefully it's going to be, I mean, honestly, I don't think it's actually a solution what they're doing. And I don't like what's going on. But, I mean, if they're going to give out money, you might as well take it because they're obviously going to make the dollar lose value from all this. And if the dollar's losing value and you're not taking any money from them, you're basically going to just lose. The money you have in the bank is just going to be worth less than it is now, is what I'm saying. So, I mean, it's like one of those things where, like, if you don't take it out of, you're not helping yourself. But I prefer they just don't do it at all and just let everybody go back to work and just have a lot of kits, and, you know, trail off and figure out who went where and all that stuff, and then everybody could just be back to normal. That should be how it's done. But So far, they haven't seemed to figure that out. Now, for all you who are looking for jobs right now, because I know probably a huge percentage of you might be, there's some companies looking, Domino's looking for 10,000 employees right now. If it'd stop auto-playing, it'd be nice. I can't even pause it. All right. 10,000 employees at Domino's. I know there's 100,000 at Amazon they're looking for. 150,000 at, I think if you just look at all these supermarkets, they have a ton of jobs they're looking for as well. So that's some stuff to look for. Also, there's some 24-hour thing. Let me show you that. What was that? That was pretty interesting. Where was that? Oh, I think, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. This is it. Okay. Apps that help people find temp work in 24 hours time. So apparently there's some apps out there that can help you find work within 24 hours that have come out. I'm trying to, what was it called? Let me see here. Let me find it real quick for you. My Work Choice. It's called My Work Choice. Maybe that's the website. It's all just, you just put it as one word, My Work Choice. Apparently, as you can see here, this is the word. So go look for that, and maybe you can find something there. Also, like I mentioned, a lot of these automakers, Ford, GM, and Tesla, are all now looking to make equipment for these hospitals because they obviously need them. So that's going on as well. At any rate, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and thanks for watching.
Today I'm going to show you how to make a superfood that'll last a lifetime without refrigeration. And it's so nutritious, you'll never have to stockpile another food. The food's called pemmican, and it was widely in use by the natives of North America and also by the Western explorers who would go for months without contact with civilization. In the 19th century, even British soldiers had an iron ration of 4 ounces of pemmican. Many of these iron rations were found intact and edible as much as 50 years later. So let's just avert our gaze from modern survival thinking for a minute, and let's think about how the guys who explored the West 150 years ago did it. Now that's exactly the kind of stuff I found in this 350-page book called The Lost Ways. It's probably the only survival book I've actually enjoyed reading, and you won't believe the survival things we've lost to history. Now I found the pemmican recipe on page 48, and I decided to give it a go. Natives used whatever was available to them at the time. Bison, elk, moose, deer, but nowadays people just use what they can buy. You just need to remember to select a low-fat red meat, and beef is perfect for this. So you'll need 6 pounds of beef, 2 pounds of rendered beef tallow, and 1/3 cup of strawberries or blueberries. And that's it. Don't include nuts, seeds, vegetable oils, grains, beans, or dairy products of any kind. Now the first step is to dry the meat and blueberries. First you need to slice the meat very thin. You can use a very sharp knife like this one, or you can keep the beef in the freezer a few hours before slicing it. If you don't have a dehydrator, you can set the oven to the lowest possible temperature, around 130 degrees, and put the strips of meat directly on the rack. So now place a tin foil on the right side of the rack and spread the blueberries out to dry with the meat. Place the rack back inside and crack the oven door to prevent moisture buildup. Let this dry for about 15 hours or until it's crispy. 150 years ago, people dried their meat by building a wooden pyramid over a small fire and hanging the meat slices on that. After 15 hours, this is what you should get. Toss it in the food processor until it becomes a powder. Do the same with the blueberries. In the old days, they grind it with a rock to crush it into a powder. Generally, well-dried meat will weigh just slightly less than 1/3 of its raw weight. Therefore, 6 pounds of raw lean meat will yield about 2 pounds of thoroughly dehydrated meat. For our next step, we need to cut the fat into small pieces about a 1/2 inch square. So place the fat in a pot on the stove and heat it up to a temperature between 225 and 250 degrees. Now, you don't gain anything from getting it any hotter than that other than destroying the fatty acids, which we want to do as little as possible. Now, for the first 10 minutes, you want to keep this on medium-high heat, and you want to stir it about every minute. And this will allow enough of the fat to be liberated to coat the bottom of the pot without burning the bottom of the fat. After about 10 minutes, you'll see a pool of fat forming on the bottom of the pot, which should be merrily boiling away. You can rest a little bit now and stir it maybe only every 5 minutes, just to keep things well mixed. After about 30 minutes, the liquid fat should have risen enough to cover the chunks, and it should look like a rolling boil. So as this liquid rises, you can go ahead and lower the temperature down to about 230. After about an hour, the major boiling action will have stopped, and there'll just be small bubbles rising from the fat. About 90% of the cracklings will be a chestnut brown in color. So use a strainer to separate these and set them aside with salt to enjoy as snacks later. They're really, really good. And if you don't like them or don't want to eat them, you can set them aside to cool for dog treats. So good. Oh, yes. Sammy, you want one? Come here. We now have to weigh the amount of ground meat and the amount of rendered animal fat. We have to have the same quantities, so you'll probably have to remove some of the excess fat. Place the remaining fat on the stove. Keep it about 120 degrees. Mix the shredded meat into the melted fat and stir it until it's well blended. Then add the blueberries and mix it again. This is how it should look. The fat should be absorbed or coating the meat fibers. There should be very little or no liquid fat pooling in the bottom of the pot. Now, following the instructions from the Lost Ways, you can store it in Ziploc plastic bags and press flat, removing as much air as possible, and therefore preventing the fat from going rancid. This should keep the pemmican from spoiling for a few years without refrigeration. So let's do that. And here's what I got. Pemmican is the ultimate survival food, no matter if you want to bug out or bug in. 10 pounds of pemmican would supply food for 2 full weeks of camping activities at 3/4 of a pound per day, providing 2,200 calories. In survival mode, the same 10 pounds of pemmican would supply energy for almost a full month. This was just one awesome chapter in the Lost Ways, but you won't believe the survival skills we've lost to history. And that's what this book is all about, saving our forefathers' skills. But I actually realized it's also about saving ourselves from the shallow world that we live in. Click below to find out how you can get your hands on one of the greatest books of this century.